Hello, my name is Memo Brown and welcome to my channel. I really don't think I'm ever going to get used to saying that. I don't know why it cringes me out so much, but hey. I'm new to YouTube. I've been using Instagram up until now. If you want to have a look at my Instagram, it's added below. That's where I've been putting in most of my effort with my book stuff. And then I saw that people on YouTube were doing stuff with books as well. So I thought I'd give it a go. I put a poll out on my Instagram and was asking like either or questions. But I've also got some of the like booktube questions. I think it's called Meet the Booktube. I did say that I'm a complete novice. I think it's called Meet the Booktuber tag. I don't really know. Welcome to my booktube. Welcome to my channel. I'm so awkward, so see how it goes. So I'm going to answer a few of the booktube newbie tag questions. Booktube newbie tag questions. That's what it's called. I wasn't sure before. So why did I start this channel? I started this channel because, like I said, I've been on Instagram for a while and I've seen that on YouTube there's more like discussive type of videos. I think people's attention spans were a little bit longer on YouTube. I feel like it's an easier place for people to search for reviews and other book related stuff. Because clearly I think I've not got enough to do with my time, so why not add another thing to my ever-growing to-do list. Question number 2. What are you most excited about for this new channel? I don't know the answer to that as well. I'm just going to skip the ones that I don't really like. This is what I mean, insight to my character. Why do you love reading? Okay, I like that question. My granddad, who's no longer with us, taught me how to read. He always had like big, thick, doorstep wedge type books, and he just taught me about the way that you can escape in a book. So that's why I love reading, mainly because I was inspired by someone that I love dearly, and also because I find it a form of brilliant escapism. What book or series got you into reading? It's hard to say because I can't remember the first book that I first started reading, but I used to absolutely devour Jacqueline Wilson. I used to literally be obsessed with Jacqueline Wilson as a child. Like every single Jacqueline Wilson book I read as soon as it came out, and as soon as I could get my hands on it at our local library as a kid, I'd be like, yes, Jacqueline Wilson. So I guess I'd say like Tracy Beaker got me into reading. And then a couple of years after that, I read the Mallory Blackman Noughts and Crosses series. I read that way before senior school, so I must have been about 8 or 9, which is quite like high level, I would say, for that age. Literally adored it. It's actually, fact, the only series that I've ever reread, so I think that says a lot. There's loads of books that I read as a kid that made me start reading, but those books initially were like the ones that stand out for me, that really like solidified me as a reader or as a bookworm. What else have we got? What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Well, I'm not going to lie, I haven't really done my research and don't know loads of booktubers yet, so don't know. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? A, I live in a house with other people, so even now I'm a little bit nervous about the noise, and I really hate people hearing me talk, and it's literally cringing me out to think that people can hear me right now. So that's 1. 2, I'd probably say I work a full-time job. My bookstagram and my poetry and everything like that is just like a little side hustle. So keeping up with consistency, I think I'm going to find hard. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. When did I start reading? Again, like, I just think that's a shit question. Like, I don't know. Like, I think, like, as a kid, like, I started reading surely at the same time as everyone else did at nursery, like. When did I become like an avid reader? Probably about 7 or 8, and then consistently from then. What kind of books do you like to read? Well, I also put this out to my followers as well because I wanted to see what sort of books they liked. So I'm going to put on the screen now just some of the story replies that I had on my Instagram. I think it's so beautiful that everyone really has a different type of book that they like to read. And I'm a Gemini. I hate blaming things on star signs, but I'm a Gemini, which I think it makes me quite indecisive sometimes. So it is difficult for me to choose one genre that I really enjoy the most. But I'd say one that intrigues me the most is probably feminine dystopia. That doesn't mean that I read it the most. That's not the type of book that I read all the time, but I'd say that's the genre that really like intrigues me, like Handmaid's Tale, Vox, is it called The Power? Yeah, The Power. So I'd say that's probably my favourite type of genre. But then like I love a good thriller. Like literally, like I went through years as a teenager of just consistently reading thrillers. But I'm really weird that if I read the blurb and it gives like a good premise to the start of a thriller, and then it says something like, and DC James was struggling in her romantic life, so how will she handle this case? I don't know why. I've just got this thing where I don't like thrillers that then use the detective as the main part of it. Like I don't like those sort of books. But I just read it and it's like a turn off. Like red flags in relationships. Again, insight into my character. Instead of me telling you about the books I like, I start telling you the things I don't like. So this takes us on to our either or questions. So my first one was, do you fold the corner or use a bookmark? Now this had my followers on Instagram divided. 60% of people said that they use a bookmark. I've been given such nice bookmarks over time, but I just really struggle to use them. Like, I either lose them or I just forget. Currently reading this, I folded the page. Yeah, I just find bookmarks too much hard work. I like being given them because I like sometimes bookmarking certain parts of the book that I like, and I love how they look. But yeah, I don't really use bookmarks. I'm definitely a fold the corner of the page type person, which I know is like sacrilege to some people, but hey, here I am living life on the website. Can you read more than one book at once, or do you only have attention for one? I didn't really word that question very well. So usually I'm a one book person. Usually I just like to finish and like get through. Recently I've been trying to engage with a lot more non-fiction, which has meant that I'm trying to read one fiction book alongside non-fiction. But what tends to happen is, like, say it's like a race, yeah? And you've got like fiction here and non-fiction here. Fiction will just go like this, and my non-fiction will just steadily go. I just don't know why I'm doing that. You know what I mean? I read the fiction quicker with more enthusiasm than I do non-fiction usually. Then get this guilt of like, oh, but I haven't dedicated time to read my non-fiction. Can you multitask while reading? For example, listening to music or watching telly. 71% of people agreed with me. They said that they need silence. I personally don't like to multitask while I'm reading. Like when I say multitask, I can multitask while I'm reading. Like I literally brush my teeth whilst I'm reading. I'll eat whilst I'm reading, like I love that, but I can't have like another form of entertainment happening. Like I don't, like, how can people watch a series and read a book at the same time? I just don't understand that. Next question was, do you read anywhere or only at home? Now I literally read everywhere. Like I read at work on my lunch breaks. If I ever am on public transport, I will read at the park, I'll read whilst I'm at home, I'll read in a cafe, I'll read literally anywhere. So I'm definitely agreeing with the majority who said that 79% of them will read anywhere. The only place I can't read is in the car. That makes me feel so sick. Even 5 minutes I'm like, whoop, whoop. So yeah, the only place I wouldn't read is in the car, but mostly I read everywhere. Do you ever read ahead or skip pages? Now, when I put this on my Instagram poll, 64% of people said they never ever read forward, but 36% of people said that they do sometimes peek ahead. Now, I haven't done this in years. I like to let the story unfold naturally. I like to make sure that I'm not ruining it for myself, but as a kid, back in the Jacqueline Wilson days, I'd say from about the ages of about 8 until about 15, I had like an actual problem. I had to read the last like 2 or 3 pages. Like it was like I had to know what happened so that I didn't have anxiety the whole way through thinking about what happened. And then I got to a point where I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like I'm literally ruining the book for myself. So yeah, I don't do that anymore, but I used to have an obsession with doing it. So it's not like a series. Like with a series, if you're watching it, like it's a bit long to go to the last episodes and forwards it through, and it's kind of like, I just don't think anyone ever does that. Whereas with books, because you know it's just there and you can be like, it is. I think it's too tempting. So I literally had to stop myself from doing that. But yes, I did used to skip pages, but now I no longer do that. I am a recovered page skipper. Recovered end ruiner. Oh, it just doesn't sound catchy. Is there any more? Is there any more? Oh yes. Do you either read out loud or in your head? I always read in my head. If it's quite wordy, I probably will like mutter it. So like as I'm reading, I'll be like, because sometimes it makes you feel like you can clarify what they're trying to say a little bit more. Makes you feel like you can understand it better. But like I tend to just read in my head because I'm not 5. What do you prefer? Ebooks and Kindles or real pages? So I'm a little bit of a like in-between person on this subject. So I used to be like, no way would I ever have a Kindle. I used to be like a real book purist. And then I got a Kindle when I was at university because I didn't want to take all my books to uni. And I used my Kindle through university and then for like a year afterwards. And then I was like, oh my God, like, why do I have this, you know, massive book lugging around with me when I could just have this like really light piece of equipment which does exactly the same thing as my book does. It doesn't change it, doesn't make you any more inauthentic by having it electronically. However, my Kindle then randomly broke. I lost all my books that were on it, which pissed me off because I really hate like not being able to look back because I've forgotten all of those books I read over those years. And please don't tell me about Amazon accounts and blah, because I don't know my password, okay? Don't know my password. So yeah, that. And then second of all, I just never got it fixed and I never bought a new one and I just went straight back to reading books. So obviously I didn't miss it. Like it was good. I've got nothing against them. I won't judge you for being a Kindler, an e-booker, but I don't discriminate. So having books is much better for me and that's what I've gone back to now. Not to say that in the future I won't get a Kindle. If anyone out there wants to volunteer to buy me a new one, actually a good thing about that is it would be good to have like a night light. Like I always want a night light at the back of my Kindle. Another question was, do you like reading in bed? And 85% of people said, yeah, it's chill. And 15% of people said, no, it makes me sleepy. I love reading in bed. I can get why some people can't read in bed because they just fall asleep straight away. But for me personally, like, there's nothing better than just being like snuggled up with your book in bed. So yeah, I love it. Oh my God, talking of sleepy. And I think, is that it? Is that everything I did? Yeah, that was it. I think that was all my answers. So let me know in the comments if anyone watches this. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, if you agree with all of the polls that I had. And that's it. Not really sure how to sign off. I think I've got to say something like, oh yeah, like the video, subscribe. Oh God, why am I doing this to myself? Yeah. I think that's it. That's the sort of reader that I am. I'd be so interested to know the sort of reader that you are. I'm really mainly doing this to connect with other people and to consistently, like, I just like talking about books and I need to stop doing the most. I think that's everything. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far with my babbling on, appreciate you. And yeah, like, subscribe, whatever. Thank you for watching.
You